today we have the DJI Power 1000 version 2. So, let's take it apart. Should I have watched my own previous video and taken the version 1 apart? I probably should have, but I didn't, so we're just going to start taking out nuts, bolts, screws and see what happens. I will fast forward through some of this. Right, I'm going to fight with this and then bring you back. In case this is useful for anyone, I have found a podger and a mallet helps to just tease, like if you can just hammer it into the gap a little bit and then go around a little bit and it just pops it off, and that gets us that side off, which is, does it say on it? I don't see any plastic markers on this one. Still rigid. Nice. I like the hexagon for reinforcement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a hexagon. And this plastic part was made in the 4th month of 2025. Right. Not a lot to see on this side. It's also upside down. Oh well. While it's upside down, we might as well try splitting the other side, which looks to be exactly the same process. Again, I've dulled my thing. Right, I'll split the other side off and bring it back. Okay, the front was incredibly unpleasant to take apart. I don't think I've broken any, but apart from the 4 screws in the front, there are clips all the way around, and also that the button keeps pressing now, which is, I've snapped one off. That one, I've snapped that one off. I think. Yeah, snapped the one in the middle off. Right, why does this button keep pressing itself? I can hear the plastic rattling inside. I think I've squashed this button. Oh. Ah, I see. Taking the front panel off can twist this power button down and round so it keeps pressing the buttons. You need to make sure it's nice and loose when it comes to putting it back together. Oh, putting it back together should be fairly simple. You just put the panels on and give them a bump into place. But yeah, I definitely broken that one off, so it's inside there somewhere. Right, what we got? We got little hexes around the outside with security covers on 2 of them. And then the backs, there's a hole in the back, but there's no, oh no, there are. There's, it does clamshell. Right, there's a hex there and a hex there. I'll show you that once we come to get it, but I imagine I have to take the front off so I can lift the top off. Are they 3s by any chance, these little hexes? They are. Oh, and they're tight. I'll bring you back once I've got the front panel off. Right, that's all the screws out, 2 different sizes for some reason. And now we'll get to see what's in behind here. Maybe. Oh, what is holding you? What is holding you? Like, is it this power switch again? Why is it always this power switch? What's... Ta-da! Right, okay, that gets that off, kind of off. Oh, there's a lot more going on in there than I would have expected just to be for a front panel. Okay. What has to get unplugged? That has to get, oh, there is so much goop. Wow. Well, at least there is enough slack to get things out. Oh, okay, that's busy in there. Jesus. Right, okay. Sorry, we're away in a tangent here. Let's see what has to get undone, if anything. Does that let me split the clamshell? If I just get that and that, then can I just take the top off? Because if I can undo that without undoing all of that goop, that'd be great. Right, let's try that then. Let's see if we can get it to split. Because I should just be able to undo that one. Oh, there's maybe 4. Is that not going to fall off of there? Possibly. So I'm hoping there's just these. I'm going to guess there's a square bolt on the bottom of this that's going to fall out when I try to turn this over. There's definitely a square bolt, but whether it tries to fall out or not, there's just 2 hex bolts going vertically on the back, which I'm hoping is all that is holding the clamshell together, because I don't see anything else. Obviously the ones at the front as well. That one and that one in there. And then we'll find out if that is what it is. I can unscrew them and not drop them. Da 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 da. Because that looks like that's the bolts for the board to hold that down. Does it just need a wee tappy tap? A wee gentle. Oh, that sounds a lot more solid than just those. What am I missing? Right, I'm going to explore for a little bit and come back once I've worked out. Well, that was a horrible experience. DJI, if you're watching that, let's not build any more of them in this construction. So, once you've got the front panel off, you've got a bolt that way, same with the back, a bolt that way. Then you have to jam your fingers down inside in here, and probably a screwdriver on the outside, to pop the vents off, because there are 2 bolts at each end underneath the vents holding the top on. That was a very unpleasant experience. Can we just all power station manufacturers go back to simple clamshells, 4 big bolts, holding them together like that? Perfect. That'd have been nice. No, not play hunt the bolt. I even took one of the feet off, the rubbery feet, to see if there's any hidden bolts going up the way, but no, they're hiding underneath the vent shrouds. I'm bleeding. Yeah, so you have to jam your fingers down in there, push a corner out, and then stab it with a screwdriver and prop it off, because they've got, I'd say start at the bottom we can, because if that's the bottom clips are smaller, and then the top ones are more these big wide ones that tuck under. But Jesus. So now I should just pop that off, more or less. It should not be held on by much now. Hopefully just clips. Please let it just be clips. I can hear things rattling about inside there now. There can't be much else. For the love of all that is holy. Oh, and there's that clip that broke off from the front panel. Right. Okay. It would appear that it's probably, was it this one that had the strip of rubbery glue stuff on the top that was sticking the top onto the top now, so we should just be able to peel this off. Yes, it's just the glue. Right. And 2 fans. Kind of hope the fans would have just stayed where they were, but alas, that is not the case. Alright, so the fans are on the front panel, they're not gooped in, so they can unplug. Where's the other fan plug? Oh, they've gooped every other connector, but not the fans in. I suppose that makes life slightly easier for deconstructing. Is that, are you attached? No, you're not attached, just there. Right, so that's the top piece, and that's the bit I was talking about with the glue that just sticks on the top. Yeah, and the fans are attached. Someone asked in another video if they're in a push-pull configuration. which they appear to be. They're going, well, one way or the other. But they're a flow through? No, a flow through. Yeah, okay, right, so that's the top. Again, nicely made, good plastic, good reinforcement, not a lot of, I mean, the only twisty, crackly noises from the fans are, they're stuck in place, that's why they came with it. They're just stuck, double-sided tape onto the thing. Okay, so they could have stayed. Actually, they've put a provision in for that. Look, come, see, stay. Their original design must have been to have the fans bolted in because they've got inserts, so we'd have left the fans in place and bolted through. I wonder why they decided to change that. Interesting. Okay. Well, we can see cells in there. And oh, that's a lot of, they have potted the ever-living sorry. They have potted the absolute everything out of this. I mean, you can see a little tantalum cap in there hiding under the compound, but everything on that board is now submerged, basically. Apart from these two boards that are standing vertically, but everything else is absolutely covered in potting compound. Right, so we haven't taken the front panel off because there's not a real need to, I don't think. Right, so that's screwed onto there. That's screwed onto there. I mean, take that off. What else is... Right, might as well just undo everything. Live, neutral, earth. Live, neutral, earth, and a few other bits. That's not a plug. I will have to undo that. And that's just a... Let's undo these two just now. Okay, so for the most part, the front board is still attached to the BMS because it seems to connect to the bottom board on top of the batteries more than this board. I disconnected this connection at this end onto this board because I was easier trying to fight my way through the goop to get to there. So that undoes that. I've undone the three spade connectors, the live, neutral and earth on that side, and the live, neutral and earth going to the sockets on that side. So that should mean, oh, and I disconnected the positive and the negative terminals of the BMS here. So that board should now be free to come out. Nope, what have I got? I've got a little something here. And there are two connections on there. One connection I could unplug, one connection is potted right into the thing. So let's see if it's got, you just sit there and we'll see if we can, the potting is good, but not the potting, the goop covering everything, but it also means you can't see what it is you're trying to unplug. So I don't even know what shape this plug is. Right, after much picking, I was able to remove that without damaging it. And that gets us this top board out of the way. Nothing on the back that we can see because it's entirely entombed in its potting compound. Let me push this back a bit so we can set this down somewhere that's not in the way. Right, bring in for a closer look. So this is the front vertical, who keeps zooming in on this thing? Vertical board. And then, as I say, everything else in the bottom is potted in. And you can see transformers, more capacitors, and more probably inductors. There's a couple of giant capacitors under that heatsink, along with, are they resistors? They look like ceramic resistors. Okay, anyway, as I say, that's a lot of compounded in this. Not much else can be said for That's just the ins and outs. Where's the... Oh, okay. So we'll call the low voltage side is coming straight off the BMS into the SDC ports, or the SDC? Is that the DJI term for? But yeah, I mean, you can, don't know how well it shows up on camera, but you can sort of see through the bottom compound. I don't know if it's actually a black or if it's just very dark and with the black outside. But there's not much to repair on there, because you can't get it. Right, that brings us into then the BMS and the batteries. So BMS, Jesus, not a lot to see. Sort of a heatsink there. There's everyone else is potted in. Just taking that off. I mean, it gets the batteries out, but do I need the batteries? I suppose I get the batteries out to count them. Right, let's take. What the hell size is that? Ho ho ho! 2.5s. 2.5s. Nobody uses 2.5s, and yet here we are. 2.5s. It's crazy. Oh, there. I hope that's Loctite. I can feel. Oh man, I hope that's Loctite. I mean, I can see the nut. It's going to absolutely fall out as soon as this is taken out. Great. Can't wait. So that's going to come out of there. And where's my magnet? Yeah, because otherwise that is going to end up on the floor and lost forever. And there'll be 4 of them. Was that Loctited? I can see the very last hints of red Loctite, or a red Loctite. Right, that seems to separate the base from the battery. Best way to do this? Is there a best way to do this? I set the top panel on and lift it in a money. Assuming I can lift it in a money. I know I'm doing this the wrong way around, but oh, that's better. We're getting somewhere now. That's us, we're off. What are we? Dunk. And then we can just tip the batteries out. 1, 2, there we go. And there's the bottom case. Again, nice, sturdy hexagon, reinforced. No plastic markers of what it is. Find somewhere else about that. Right, that brings us to the batteries. And there's the, oh, it's not double-sided tape. It's like a squashy, slidey plastic. So obviously it slots in and makes a kind of compression fitting. And under this bit should be all the connections for the said batteries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 50 volts, 50 odd volt batteries. That must be in series then, each one. What have we got for this side? Man, see if this front panel, which just, that switch gets annoying really fast. I also noticed there's no error, and it's not connected to anything. But you know what I mean, it's not. Okay, it's not all negatives, so it's. There's thermistors on this side. 1, 2, 3 thermistors. That's battery positive. That must be battery negative. Right, hold you there, sticky thing. And let's fire up the old meter. What noise that was. Voltage. So a battery positive and battery negative. And we have 52.56 volts. So you got battery negative is that terminal there, and then there's a wire that brings it up to attach to the BMS, and then the BMS is the other side, so we should be right if we accidentally ground out there. So if that's battery negative, got 52, 6, 45, 6, 45, 13. Have they got a weird parallel serial configuration here? Right, who wants numbers off the batteries? Which end's got a good... That's that one. Right, hold on, let's just stick you back on there. Stick that back on there. And we'll turn you around. Flop the flappy thing over there. Ah, of course it's upside down. Oh, let me zoom in on the battery. And I will flip this in post so you can read the numbers. That makes sense. 20 ampere, 3.2 volt, 64 watt hours. Then their serial number, you can look up whatever chemistry and manufacturer, GPNH. No, I'm going to pretend I recognise any of the names. Do you want me to try? I might as well. We're here. I'll take the BMS board out and see if there's anything. I don't think there'll be much. Don't think there's going to be anything on the other side to see, but we're here. We also haven't looked at the front panel, have we? I'll bring you down for a look at the front panel. So that side there, that's your two mains outlet sockets. What's underneath them? Is that? Oh, it's just the switch and the lights for. And then we've got USB-C and standard USB, 140 watt on USB-Cs. That is SDC connectors at the end. That's just the back of the LCD screen. And that's the charging side, this side. There's your IEC pins coming onto the board there. And there's another low voltage. No, I'm not sure what it is. It's an 8-pin plug. Where is it? In the charging bit. You've got the IEC and then another little 8-pin plug next to it. No, know what that is. Haven't read up on any of it yet. I'd say we've got the SDCs there that go straight into the BMS and the battery. And not much else. And that horrible. That's not horrible. The power switch that. Yeah. I don't know why it's I mean, it's in an odd place. I find that kind of on an angle at the top. Yeah, right. So let's try and get this BMS board off for the last thing. Even we just lift up a little bit to see if there's anything underneath it that we can see. I don't think there will be. I have a feeling it's going to be fully encapsulated. Today's word is encapsulated. Right. Give us a quick peek and then we'll see if there's anything. Oh man. Oh, of course the battery negative is holding us down. Right, I'm not peeling that off. Well, I can also feel that's covered in goop. I can feel that stuff on the other side, so there's not going to be much to see under there. So let's just leave that and put the screws back in it and say we're never in there. So that was the DJI Power 1000 version 2 taken apart in bits. Not going to say it was a pleasant experience. Definitely not getting the outer casing off. Lots of clips and hidden screws and a variety of different sized bolts. Yeah, much prefer simple put togethers with just one or two sizes. That looks like a little piezo buzzer. If anybody's, I don't know if anyone wants to make it quiet. Does it make it quiet? Let me put my finger over it and just make sure. I don't think that made any quieter. Did it make it quieter? Turn off now. It did make it quieter. So yeah, that's the little piezo there. If anyone wants to shut it up, it's in there. Yeah. Right, that's that taken apart. We've seen the insides. As usual, any comments, you can leave them down below or any questions. I'm going to do another video on comparing the insides of this to the first generation. I'll take the first generation apart and I'll have them both apart at the same time on the bench, and we will go over both of them and see what they're like inside to compare them off each other. So, any comments, questions, anything like that, leave it down below. I will try my very best to answer them. And as always, thanks for watching.